Welcome to Enadu ETV Bharat. This is Casmin Fernandez. I'm at the Kerala Literature Festival in Kozhikode and we are here with Mithu Sanyal. She's a German author here with the German team for the festival. Germany is one of the featured nations. It is the featured nation actually at the festival. And she's also going to be doing a session here. So Mithu, tell us about the session.
It's going to be a session with Sandbox Collective, and it's going to be about memory and representation and identity. And this is really interesting to be here as the German delegation, because in Germany I'm always the Indian woman and here I'm the German. It's lovely.
Yeah, you have a dual identity also, and you've also written about this.
Absolutely.
Being Indian and German. And tell me about the book that you wrote about this.
Okay, so my first novel is a novel about growing up mixed race in Germany. And in Germany, we haven't got that concept. So the German word for mixed race is mixed race. We have only got English words for it. Because for a long time we said, oh no, race, there are no human races. So only the Nazis, they were into race theory. And we don't have that. So there isn't any racism. Yes, there is actually. And we didn't talk about it for a long, long time. So people growing up mixed race were basically encouraged to denounce their second culture. They were encouraged to basically be only German, and then they were told, oh, you're not really German. And so it was really difficult to mold out an identity, and there weren't any books I could find. So the first book with the mixed race first person narrator was Hanif Qureshi, The Buddha of Suburbia, which came out in 1990. And which is not that long ago. I was 20 when that book came out. Yeah. And I thought, I want to write about this because there's so many of us. In a couple of years, there'll be 50% of all Germans will be mixed race in some way or another, the children, the next generation.
But they're still living in denial about it, even now.
Well, we're starting to talk about it, but actually in a very dysfunctional way. For a long, long time, you could only be German if your father was German. So it was kind of, you inherited it by blood, by male blood.
It sounds patriarchal also.
It absolutely is, absolutely patriarchal. And so my dad was Indian, so I had an Indian passport. And my mother and her generation of feminists, they fought for the right to give their nationality to their children. But they did that because they were told, oh, don't marry these foreigners. The marriage will break down and they'll take the children away to their homeland. You'll never see a child again. Don't marry them. And so these women, they fought for the right for their children to have their nationality out of actually racist reasons. And so my very first memory in my life is getting a German passport, which was only possible in 1975. Only then could women give their nationality in Germany to their children. And so my first memory, I didn't know what nationality was, I didn't know what the passport was, I didn't know what German was, but I knew my mother was so relieved. So that's my first memory. I can see her standing in front of our yellow curtains and being so happy that I wouldn't be taken away from her. They stayed together.
And you went on to become quite a famous author. You're a feminist, and you know there's so much negativity around the word feminist and feminism. You wear that badge proudly.
Well, for a long, long time there was quite a lot of negativity, especially in Germany. I remember doing a reading once and somebody said, oh, the next person on the panel is Mithu Sanyal. She's a feminist, and whatever you say, but she's actually nice. What the hell is going on here? And then it kind of changed, and suddenly feminism became very mainstream. And so suddenly every festival was, oh, the future is female. Well, actually, I hope the future is human. and so in a way, then there was all this American way of, oh, you've got to become a CEO, you've got to become rich and famous, which is actually not what feminism is about. It's about equality for all human beings.
Yeah.
And
they made feminism about being a girl boss, which is even worse.
Exactly, it was a girl boss feminism thing. And I thought, this is not my feminism. And I felt kind of alienated from it. And at that time, I was doing more work on kind of post-colonialism, which is interesting because for a long, long time in Germany, we said we didn't have any colonies. Well, we had, but only for a very short time. Well, yeah, but not voluntarily. You didn't give them up because you didn't want to. You gave them up because you had to, because you lost the First World War. And yeah, but we were the good colonies. No, you were not the good ones. And so we didn't talk about that. And then we started talking about that. And then October 7th happened. And suddenly, for some reason, that is not connected with anything, it became, people said, oh, isn't it anti-Semitic to talk about post-colonialism? It's got nothing to do with each other. It's not even connected. And so now the political right, the right-wing parties in Germany, they've kind of weaponized it. And they're saying, oh, all these post-colonial people, they're in reality, they are anti-Semitic. No, they are not. We're working together. I mean, at universities, the people doing research into the Holocaust are working very closely together with people doing research into colonialism. But on stages, it's become a really contested subject.
When you're writing your books also, what inspires you? Your book Vulva, your book Identity, what was the, especially Vulva, what was the inspiration behind it?
Okay, my first book, which was a non-fiction book, was the cultural history of the vulva, and because I found out vulva is a genital, and I found out that we're using the wrong word. We were using vagina, which is the visible genital, is called vulva, and the vagina is only the kind of tunnel that connects the visible, the vulva with the uterus. And so why are we using the wrong word? We wouldn't say testicle if we meant the penis. And I thought that must have a history. And so I was doing research into the history, and I didn't find any books because at that time there hadn't been any books written about that. So everybody said, oh, this is a pioneer work, and became a kind of standard, and it's been translated in loads of languages, and suddenly everybody was baking vulva cakes, and it was kind of, yeah, it's lovely, and I like vulva cakes. But that wasn't actually why I had
You were baking vulva cakes after your book came out.
Yeah, it was just a coincidence, I think. But suddenly, vulva became. So it took about 10 years after the book came out, and suddenly everybody rediscovered my book. Now there's this brilliant book, and it was, yeah. So at every feminist party had vulva cupcakes and stuff.
Wow.
And yeah.
You're also on the jury of the Bachman Prize, and tell me a bit about that.
Yes, this is Ingeborg Bachmann. She is probably one of the most famous female authors, German language female authors after the Second World War. One of the most famous ones. And one of the most famous literary prizes, the Ingeborg Bachmann Prize, is named after her, which is if you win the Ingeborg Bachmann Prize, you've kind of made it in the German literary world. And so it is kind of for these 5 days. So the jury, we don't do it in secret, so we do it all in public. It's televised, so it's 5 days of non-stop TV talking about literature, readings talking about them, and then the jury saying, oh, how many points we give to different texts. And it's the literary event of the year. And for these 5 days, you're treated as royalty. And
you're one of the main judges.
I'm one of the judges. So there are 7 judges. I'm one of the 7 judges. And it's weird. I've never been treated that well anywhere.
But you're being treated well here, I hope, at KLF.
Oh, it's absolutely lovely, but nobody knows me here. So it's a very small town, Klagenfurt, where she was born, Ingeborg Bachmann. Yeah. She was born in Austria, and so you go there, and it's probably twice as many people during that prize, during the whole festival for the prize, and everybody on the street, people say, "Oh, you are Frau Sanyal." Yes, that's me, and that is. So
people come there just for the event.
Yeah, absolutely. So all the journalists come there, and all the TV crews come there. And it's going to be the 50th anniversary this year, and yeah, it is.
Is she one of your favorite authors as well?
I used to absolutely love her, especially during my studies, and she is probably my favorite German poet. She is female poet. So and this is Paul Celan, and both are they're the 2 probably greatest poets in the German language, and Heinrich Heine, which I have to say because Heinrich Heine comes from my hometown, and he's lovely. He's written all these lovely songs, the ballads that we know, so about the Lorelei and all the German myths, and he's a brilliant. He's a Jewish German author who had to, long before the Nazis, but he still had to flee from Germany, and he is brilliant. But from after the Second World War, they are the 2 most important poets, and they're amazing. And she's written one novel, Marlena, which deals with kind of how fascism intrudes into intimate life.
And right now, are you working on any books?
At the moment, I'm writing a long essay. So my last novel came out last year, and I hope it's going to be translated into English soon. So we're in contact with different publishers. I really, really hope, because the last novel is a lot about, it's my Indian novel, so to speak.
Oh, what is it about?
It's about anti-colonial resistance. It's about armed resistance. Actually, Savarkar is one of the main characters in the book, which which took me a long time to do the research about that. It is about his time in in England. He was in India House from 1905 till 1910. Before he was arrested and sent to the Andaman Islands, before he was sent to Kalapani, and
so it's a historical book also.
It has a historical part and a now part. So it's a time travel novel, because I started it during lockdown and I was watching too much Doctor Who, and so I thought I need to write a time travel novel.
That's interesting. I'm also writing a time travel book. It's going to be my first.
Because I always thought that if you write a historical novel, you're lying. You don't know how people felt back then. But if I have a time traveller, that makes so much more sense. So it's somebody from now looking at that time and trying to make sense of it.
Yeah, you're looking at it from a different perspective also.
Absolutely, absolutely. I find it much more believable. So I can understand time travel. I don't understand historical novels. I don't believe it. They are not realistic. Time travel, that's realistic.
So now your session is about to begin. We look forward to it and have a great time at KLF. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure talking to you.